available. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember the Secret Wars, like Marvel figures that were out, and I even then back then when I was a kid, I always thought those looked maybe even a little bit better than the newer stuff that was coming out, like in 1990, 91, 92. Even though they gave you like gimmicks, I just love the way the Secret Wars Marvel figures looked. 5 points of articulation,
Yeah,
but the way they looked, and I mean at the time that was like revolutionary. It was mind blowing, like, and then it's incredible just to see where it's come.
well, dude, I remember they had Sawgrass Mills was like the big outlet mall there, which is like it's a nationwide the malls for the mills, and they had a KB and a Toy Works, which is essentially the same store, right? But they did those Toy Biz, those 12-inch figures, in the boxes we talked about, where they just have them fucking stacked from like floor to ceiling, like,
Yeah.
and the big ones would be on sale for like, I don't know, 3 for 20 or something like that, or like $6.99 a piece.
Yeah.
And I just remember like we'd ignore all that shit looking for the Power of the Force stuff.
Yeah, I remember, man. I remember. It
Power
was
of the
an
Force.
interesting time.
Brian made a nice comparison last night on ETR to Ripley to Power of the Force Luke in terms of hitting chest day. I was like,
Oh, was the Ripley figure back then kind of diesel?
no,
No.
whatever you guys looked at last night on,
Oh,
I don't know.
Super 7.
Yeah, Super 7. It was like,
okay.
I was trying to get some cardio in this morning and it sucks. And so I wasn't watching, I was listening, and I heard him talking. Like,
Yeah, that's cool though. Like it's nice that Kickstarter sort of brought you back to, like a time though, and that's sort of like the reason for going in. Like
yeah,
again, we spoke about nostalgia like in the
Fuck.
past, and it's like it's interesting what
Dude.
certain pieces will do for you in that respect.
dude, if these gyms don't open back up, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm so old when I'm reminiscing about college that way. You know what I mean? Because the Spawn is fucking college. It's like Spawn and Magic the Gathering was like my first 2 years of college, and playing Space Hulk, with the Warhammer is fucking crazy.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering was really big. But I mean, like my boss at the hobby shop, he used to get, I don't, I guess he looked it up, researched it, but people would sell like their collections, but he'd always get like the rare cards. And I mean, I would see, people coming in and spending like big money.
Dude, I hate to admit this, but if you guys know that, and I know Chuck is the only person I know who still currently plays, I think, but like I had 2 of those Black Lotus cards that I opened like in packages, which I don't even know how much they're worth today, but like I traded one of them to a comic book shop for fucking store credit so I could buy a Spawn, McFarlane, Malbolgia, and a bunch of Power of the Force stuff. It's crazy. It's like so sad, but again, that was 20 some years ago, so
Yeah, that was big. And then I just remember the whole like Pokemon kind of craze taking over because I think, the same sort of thing, right? You got characters and cards and they do certain things, or whatever. But
Yo,
I mean,
dude.
did you say Black Lotus card?
Yeah, so it's this card,
$166,000.
no, don't even
What?
say that. Come on.
No,
Come on.
yeah.
what?
No. It was like, dude, I had 2 of those things. I kid you not. And I was
For some fucking Power of the Force.
I was shuffling them
Dude,
like you
sucker.
would like a fucking Uno deck, right? I mean, I kid you, because that's all they were then. They were just cards. So what had happened was a friend of mine from college, we used to, my senior year of high school, we used to have like a gaming night, and we would not just do like some role-playing games. We would do like Axis and Allies, if you guys ever played that. We'd play some retro games. It was actually pretty cool. It was actually really fun. And after the first year of college, when I would be back home for the summer, we'd still get together and we'd do it. It was Thursday night. And that's one of the guys had found the Magic the Gathering game. So he brought it back and then introduced it to us. So then we purchased it. Then I go back to college, the next year, introduce it to my roommate, and it just gets fucking out of control. This is like 1994. But yeah, so we were getting booster packs, and Wizards of the Coast used to be printed in Belgium, so you couldn't find them in the States except in very elite places or very very hard to come by. And some sporting goods collectible stores in Florida used to get them. So we track these boxes of boosters down there, and we'd split them, split the box, open everything up, take what we wanted, and then go sell the rest, in like comic book shops and stuff like that, and that would kind of cover the cost of the weekend playing and the food and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, but it's just crazy because those I don't want to think about it, Dave. Thanks, I appreciate that.
Sorry, dude.
Because I was literally like shocked. And that was back in the day. Someone would have like their I don't know if they still do this in card games or not. I don't know if anything's of that value. I would show you like, hey Brian, I have the real card. So here's my real card, and then here's the card I'm going to write with a Sharpie on as a proxy, so I'm not shuffling, the expensive card. And it was just so cheesy, you know what I mean? And then other people would use those card condoms and have this deck of cards that was like this tall, right? And they couldn't shuffle, and it was just a disaster. So we just played with them. We just played the game, and that's all it was. It was just trying to build the game. And it was like so sad. But
Card condoms.
it's like, right? Those, they'd have those like thick plastic ones, and you'd have your deck. It'd be like this freaking tall, like.
I mean, I'd see that more for like the basketball cards and the baseball cards, and you got those rookie cards and people bringing in like the stacks, and you're right, like, it's all these single cards, but they would stack high because of how thick those things
Dude,
were.
it was such a good time though, because you'd look in like Scry magazine, right? And you'd like try and look for these like combos and stuff, and you have to wait for the printed media, kind of like the not Toy Fair the show, but like Toy Fair the magazine, back when you used to wait for that for pictures and stuff. And now I just tune into ETR, and I pretty much learn everything I need between Monday night, Wednesday night tutorials, and Friday night theater, and between JD and Crashbox putting tutorials out there. I learn, it's like remodeling a house except for fun stuff.
I mean, hindsight is always a beautiful thing, like, right? Like, isn't it like with the stuff that we collected as kids? I mean, if we would have known maybe shit was worth money, maybe we would have took better care of it or whatnot. We're not thinking about that like when we're in the moment and we're having a good time. Is there anything that's similar to that like now? Because I know Magic is still around, but is there anything like still with that kind of collectability that people are looking for that you would know? Anything in the same range of like that Black Lotus that's so expensive, Just one, because I just feel like things get so overproduced now.
I think there's some Pokemon cards that are. I mean, I never touched that one, but I think there's some that are still super pricey.
Yo, is Dom here? Dom,
I'm here.
Tell me about your Beanie Baby collection. What you got?
Oh, my Beanie Baby collection? Yeah, that's great. I used back in the day. I used
No,
to
but
play
yeah.
with my mom.
But that was back, like back in the day. Like I'm talking about like now, like anything. Is there a card game that's out there hitting right now that's
I
sort
think
of
they
similar
still,
to like
they
what
still
Magic
play that
was
same
back-
one, right?
I know, I know they still
Yeah.
play it. Just don't really hear about it, nowadays. So just don't know how big it is.
My mom has
Pogs.
my-
Pogs still.
my mom has a fucking closet worth of Beanie Babies. It's just fucking horrible.
Are those still worth anything, or is it
I have
just
no
all
idea.
downhill?
I have
I don't
no
think
idea.
so.
Wasn't there like a big court case that got settled, like Beanie Babies that had to be split between like a husband and wife, and they were worth like a fortune or something? I don't know. Could be misremembering
Maybe.
some sort of incident. Like I don't know. Like I remember it was like a big like divorce settlement, and they had to split the Beanie Babies, and the Beanie Babies were worth like money. Like that was the whole like point of contention. Like I think like it's incredible, right? Shit, fucking people fight over.
Hey,
Well,
You could leave the tags on. Remember that?
they,
Leave
oh,
the
she,
tags
she
on.
she was ripping the tags
That's
off
like
the
your
Beanie
cat.
Babies. Holy shit! Don't do that.
it's a no, huh?
Just devalued it.
You guys remember Pound Puppies?
I remember
Oh, yeah.
Cow Puppies. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
They
still in
reissued
stores.
those.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still in stores.
My daughter
had a
has a
little one.
few.
Pound puppies are like the Boglins, man. They were like well packaged because they came packaged in the
In the
like
doghouse.
the cardboard
Yeah.
doghouse, and then it was like, hey, you're not just buying them, you're like adopting them. They took them from the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah.
Oh, so you could still get those? You could the whole thing
Yeah,
is
Target,
still.
yeah.
They're
Oh,
a little
right.
different from when we were growing up, but they're there.
What are they like? All neon now and shit.
No,
No, it just
No, they bark and they poop. and they pee.
I could go get one probably if you want me to go get one.
I remember the baby dolls, which I'm sure they still gotta have those that you feed it like the bottle, and it looks like that the milk or whatever is draining from the
No,
bottle.
dude, you're thinking of the limited edition David Cologne collectible. You know, that's the one that you feed, and like you can
That's the one that
you can burp it and diaper it and comb its hair. It's pretty sweet. It's like it's very lifelike.
Now, did they make big ones and little ones? I remember as a kid, I had a little one.
The pound puppies, yeah.
Yeah, they made. big
There were
ones and
different
little ones.
sized ones, yeah. There were like little beanie baby sized ones, and then there were bigger ones.
Yeah. They have like a retro end cap at Target, and they sell like Town Puppies, like My Little Pony, and
Light
retro
Bright.
boxing, Light Bright, yeah, all that.
Oh, nice!
Retro
Right, I
shit.
remember that.
Dom, which Cabbage Patch Kid did you have as a kid?
The one with like the little patch in it, like a hair, like it's bald, but it has like a little patch.
Did you send in a certificate to change his name officially with Charles
No.
Xavier?
No,
Not Charles Xavier. It was Xavier Roberts. I got it wrong.
No.
Sorry. It was like,
But I remember as I grew up older, I took it and then I like would like skim the head on the ground, so it eventually had like these big scars on its head.
that's
See
not
Dom out there
disturbing.
going,
Right. That's not disturbing
Yeah,
at
it's a
all.
little sadistic.
Listen, I have to say I dropped my baby a couple times.
You know, it's funny in the mid 2000s when I lived in Chicago. I used to foster for a Doberman Pinscher rescue group. You know, I was in the process of adopting one for my own. I got involved with the rescue group, and I remember I fostered this one Dobe particularly. His name was Tano, but he was great, super laid back and chill. But it was funny because he was huge Dobe. He was like the size of a Great Dane, so he's probably about 80 pounds, which is pretty big, you know, for a Doberman. And his favorite toy was the Cabbage Patch doll. I was just kind of put in perspective like how big he was. That was like his one little stuffy toy.
Yeah, that was the thing, man. With my sisters back in the day, they wanted those, and I guess just like anything else, they were, I guess, pricey for my parents' pocketbook back then. So I think like I remember my mom telling the story. Like there was one year, you know, I guess she got the bootleg Cabbage Patch Kid, and she got it from my sisters, and my cousin, I guess that same Christmas, got the real one, and she was like rubbing it in like their faces, like, "Oh, that's not a Cabbage Patch Kid. That's like I got the real one." And showing the certificate and everything.
Dude, that's funny. So
My mom was like, never again.
I have one younger sister. She's 5 years younger than me, and her birthday is in September. And my mom happened to be in some like not a major chain, but some discount, you know, like shopping, you know, retail store in Ohio, where this is like in the peak of the season, like either 83 or 84. So my sister was like 4 years old. And just got lucky that they put out like a pallet of like 15 of them. Mm-hmm. So she picked one up for my sister when they were super hot, just literally being in the right place at the right time, right, when they put them out. And that was for her birthday, which was, like I said, the fall. That Christmas, my mom decided she wanted one. So my father bought one out of the paper. It's like you said, back before eBay days and stuff, right? And she was, you know, like you said, Don, they were so specific, you know, so she wanted like a boy with bald head and like the pacifier mouth. So my dad had to track down like that exact figure. And then they had this very clever, but they had that gimmick where you could send in whatever name they came with on the birth certificate and you could change it, and you mailed it in, you waited like 6 or 8 weeks, and they sent you a new certificate, you know, with whatever name you wanted to change it to. So she ended up doing that. It was just kind of funny, like how it happened. I remember my dad saying years later, he was like, "I can't believe I go to this lady's house. Her living room is filled, floor to ceiling, these fucking Cabbage Patch Kid dolls." And there I am trying to find like the bald male boy with like a pacifier. You know, it's like just to make your mom happy for Christmas that year. That's crazy.
You know what
Fun.
I just learned? Doing some quick Google searching here. The pound puppy that I had as a kid was a KO.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, yo.
I had a Kennel Cuddles.
You better go to your parents and slap
Cuddles.
them. Say,
Kennel
where's my
cuddles.
fucking pound puppy? Kennel cuddles. I don't want my
the
kennel.
kennel
I
cuddles.
don't want kennel cuddles, ma.
And listen, that's always a risky prospect, right? Because maybe if we were too young to read back in the day when we asked for things, we at least knew what the logo looked like. You know what I'm saying? So if it looked a little off, you sort of like knew it. Like that year, man. I guess my sisters couldn't tell, but once they saw the real one, like she said, they cried so much. She was like, I could never do that again. Like she was like, I'll just pay the money. I would like search high and low if I had to, but she said ever since that, she made sure like she got like, the real thing. You know, I don't know. Like now that you say that, like probably if you'd maybe Transformers that had back in the day, it might have been bootleg or KO.
For sure. They had bootleg a lot of like. I don't know if they were GoBots, but they were smaller than.
They were Zybots.
That's what they were. I think that's what they were.
They all transformed the same. The legs flipped down and the arms.
Yes,
flipped out.
and you used to be able to find them like in corner fucking bodegas. Sometimes.
Yeah.
So I had a few of those things mixed in my fucking toys too.
I still have some down the crawl space. Yeah.
Fucking full lead. Toys.
So I can't remember where it was. I keep thinking it was like Big Lots, but I don't know if Big Lots was around then. But they did like the deluxe Insecticons came in a big pack, and they were whatever Zybots or whatever KO company did them, but they would sell them there, and they did the aerial bots and the Constructicons.
Oh yeah, they'll come in like one the cardboard like cutout that's all like plastered onto one cardboard cutout.
Yeah, like a blister pack.
Yeah,
the blister
like a
pack,
blister pack. Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean I don't know, man. Like maybe I just couldn't tell. Like I know that Voltron Dust has mentioned it before. Like the Voltron that he had was like that bootleg version, but it came like with all the weapons. Like I think it came with more stuff than the official one did. I remember I had that one too, the Lion Bot, and I was just so happy just to have that fucking thing. Like I didn't care.
Imagine if somebody finds some of those sealed retro robots now, and at the bottom of it says like KFC or Make Toys or some shit.
I guess there is sort of a market for that kind of stuff. Like people do collect that shit, like the KOs.
Yeah, it's the crazy KO knockoff stuff.
Yeah.
Kennel cuddles.
It's a market all of its own, huh? Well, you couldn't tell, Brian. If they fooled you.
Well, the thing is the reason why I remembered it was because the Pound Puppies. I just Googled it, and they came in a box. It looked like it was like a kennel. It was a half a kennel, right? For there at the Pound. But I remember mine came in a box that looked like a doghouse. So I just Googled like Pound Puppies doghouse box, and up comes Kennel Cuddles. There it is. They even had a little like heart thing sewn into the ass of the dog. Like, didn't Pound Puppies have like something?
Yeah, they had something like that.
Wasn't it like a paw print or something?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, so these had a little heart thing.
What were the KO Masters of the Universe that you used to see everywhere? There was a brand that they were called specifically. What's that again?
Thundercats.
Yeah, right. No, but there was literally like they're the same kind of 5-inch scale.
She-Ra?
No, they were actually called something.
WWF figures.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's like not Argo, something else. Hold on.
You guys remember that My Buddy doll?
Yeah.
Oh, the thing was fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah, Gary doesn't like that stuff.
No, I don't like it at all.
commercial, but-
And every single Monday, Pinkerton has to bring it up and like talk about it.
Gary, did you get an email from Mezco today about the blade?
That blade looks pretty cool.
I
But
do
it's
the way
like
it
every Mezco email I get, it's like one thing cool at the top, then you scroll down and it's nothing but bobblehead.
Yeah,
fucking
those
horror
giant dolls and stuff like that. Like,
looks. Look, KJ.
And it's like, you may also like. I'm like, no, I might not.
right, exactly.
also
No,
like.
I'm not into that.
Gary, was it this about that question you were asking, Crystar?
Yeah, I think that Crystar wasn't that like the Crystal Castle and stuff. There was there was another chain. They were like not Coleco, but it was shit. What was that? So there was a company called whatchamacallit? Arco, like the Other World, and they were like those bendable like rubber figures with like the wire inserts, and they were like they had some really cool creatures. They had a castle. They had like this like double-headed dragon, this like flying bird thing, and they were like literally like bendy figures, and all their weapons were like solid plastic, but they glowed in the dark. I don't know how to screen share, but let me see if I can find them. So it's not those, but
was
there
it
was
that Black Star stuff?
no Black Star was a legit line.
Oh, okay.
Gumby?
Stop.
Surprised Dom doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, if you Google Arco, ARCO, the Other World, you'll see what I'm talking about. But they were like literally like the cheapy, bendy figures that had the wire in them. But they had some very, very cool creatures and accessories and a good castle.
Muscle Men?
Stop.
Whoa! Holy shit, Gary! I just found something from my childhood.
Arco, the Other World.
Yeah.
Oh, Steven.
Let me translate Brian's saying, I don't give a shit what you're talking about, Gary. I just found something more important.
Right, that's okay. It's a good rabbit hole.
See, that sort of looks like the Herculoids or something. Those old cartoons from like the '60s, almost. You remember that? Those was it the Hanna Barbera?
I used to
cartoons?
like that. Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong?
Hold on.
That's sort of what that looks like to me, a little bit.
Do you guys? These things were like the size of a soda can, and you pop the top, and it was kind of like army men.
Yeah.
Fuck,
but
were
it's
your
just like-
parents
That's like Muscle Man.
shopping at?
almost.
Shut up, Dom.
Nah,
I used to love these things, man.
I don't remember that.
Oh, you probably got them with something. I
Yeah,
googled
they
Arco
sold
toys. These were
those-
made by Arco.
Yeah. They sold those at the gas station where your dad picked up the dozen roses for Mother's Day.
That's funny.
So I think I still have some of the like the little guys with the club.
Yeah, right. Did you? You know what I'm talking about, JD? Like
Yeah, I know
Sounds
exactly. What you're
they had the
talking
mini
about. I think
ones. Like the good guys were orange, and the bad ones were
Or
purple.
purple. Yep. I think I still have some of them.
God, I'm gonna buy these right now.
I feel like Dom has a point though. That is sort of like it looks like one of those like bootleg sort of like toys that you'll find in the bodega.
Which ones are
course.
just like?
Those ones that Brian just screen shared.
Dude, you guys have been to flea markets, right? Like
Absolutely.
you ever like come across that table that
Remco.
guy has all okay, Remco, okay.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I think that's what I was talking about. Those were the Motu like style like.
Remco.
Let's see. I'm Googling.
Did I make it up? No, I didn't make it. I'm not crazy. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
mean,
I
I
see
see-
something that's called the Warlord right now that looks very much like a He-Man figure.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
1982 Remco DC The Lost World of the Warlord action figure. $175.
That's crazy.
That's on eBay.
That's crazy.
But it does look like same style, like Gary, like you said, looks like a He-Man figure. So that must be it. Let's see if there's some other ones. Yeah, I don't remember those. But I mean, if 82, I was 2 years old, so I wouldn't remember. I probably wouldn't remember anything till about like 86 or 87. It does look like there's a bunch.
You want
They-
$30 for this? That's crazy.
They made wrestling figures too. See, now that looks a little bit familiar. Like these little like 2-packs of like the mass wrestlers, the old AWA wrestlers that somebody's got a picture here. Like that looks really familiar. Like I might have had some of those.
So you know what I missed? So like Brian, you probably loved those little like stuffed dogs and didn't know that they weren't like the official name brand, right? The kennel.
Yeah.
What was it again? The kennel critters.
Kennel Cuddles.
Cuddles.
They were 2 steps away from fucking
A sock monkey.
Were you
Wow.
gonna say fucking euthanasia or something like that?
something like
Dom?
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awful.
Wrong, dude.
They weren't as cute as the pound puppies. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
mutts and
Yeah.
shit. No pure breeds.
missing an eye or something.
That's fucked up, bro. Oh my god,
Like a dog.
he's such a dick.
These dogs need love too.
Oh,
when they played the commercial for them, it was like a real sad song.
Sarah Gellar.
Sarah McLachlan.
Every
Sarah
Gellar.
Sarah Gellar. It's
every
not Buffy.
purchase of a
It's
cuddle
not Buffy.
kettle.
I
Whatever
don't
was
care.
it
One of
called?
those
A
actors.
cuddle kettle.
For
Whatever.
just 10 cents a day, you could
You
sponsor.
fed fucking a real puppy somewhere.
Mom, I want a kettle cuddles.
I had stuffed animals as a kid. I had like a pit of them.
I think everyone did.
I still got some stuffed animals.
I just kept
Yeah, I
out.
still
Go
have
get
some
my
of them.
Ewok and keep me company the rest of the show.
I think I had
I
a
have
Taz. I
two
could
Ninja
only remember
Turtles.
having a Taz stuffed animal from like years ago. That's probably still here somewhere. Asia might have
Right.
claimed it.
I can't leave a boardwalk without winning at least 2 or 3 of them.
Dom gets a cotton candy, a caramel apple, 3 stuffed animals, and 2 goldfish.
Yeah. Fucking love those games.
See, so that Remco company that you mentioned, Gary. So it looks like they sort of like had different properties, but with the same basic, like I guess, like mold of a figure. So they did that Warlord that I mentioned. They got like wrestling figures. It looks like they did Karate Kid.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they followed the Motu mold of what's Dave putting on his head?
They got something that looks like
The
GI Joe.
Ewok thing.
Yeah, I think they they were. It's like we talk about repaints and reuse, but it's been happening for 40 years. You know what I mean? So I think they just did that same idea.
Yep.
They just recycled stuff.
If it's not broken, don't
Chibuki
fix
Yoki.
it.
Yep,
What-
true. It's true.
What kind of hat is
Came
that,
from-
Dave?
came
What
I
is
took it
that?
off my Ewok. I don't know.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Chibuki Yoki.
Wow, that thing I showed you guys, $2 at Toys R Us.
Kennel Cuddles?
No,
You
the
did.
Oh,
that,
the other
that-
thing.
that thing with the monsters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are
the
they
can
still
of
selling
fun.
now?
No, it was
Oh.
the dress is closed.
Oh.
I think there's one open in Jersey that Vinny was talking about, like in a hangout. I think last week.
Antoine
he said
asks
it was
about
trash.
it in the group every week. He says he asks about it in the group every week. Antoine's like, anyone been yet? Anyone been?
Yeah, I think Vinny said he been there and it was like just garbage. Which I mean, it's if it's a smaller space, they're not gonna have the same sort of selection. So
All
I
the
doubt
shit
you're
they
gonna.
didn't- all the shit they didn't sell off the first
Yeah.
time. It's what it is.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
we don't normally do hauls, but has anybody gotten anything in the mail since there's not a lot of like brick and mortar shopping, even less now, like recently?
I recently got I pre-ordered the Apocalypse Wave for X-Men, and they actually gave me 2 figures, and they're supposed to not release until later this month, I think. For some reason, I got 2 of them. I got that Dark Beast dude. That figure is fucking looks great.
Who'd you pre-order through, Dom?
Target.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
I only got 2 out of the set. I pre-ordered the whole set because they had a sale going on, and I just did the pre-order, and they sent me 2 figures out of the wave. I don't know why, but I got Dark Beast and Weapon X. But the Dark Beast is like probably going to be the one everyone goes after.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Y'all
that look
even
like?
put-
Who's Dark Beast?
It's
Is it Beast?
it's Beast. Yeah, it's
But
Beast,
he's-
but
he's
like
gray,
that.
right?
He's evil. Yeah, he's like
Yeah,
he's
okay,
like-
I know what it is then.
Is that like a real thing or like just a bullshit repaint?
No,
it's
I
a
think
real
I,
thing.
th- I think it's a real thing.
Okay.
Not like kennel cuddles. So
Is it the gray
Kennel
one or the
Cuddles.
dark
Say
or
that
the dark
fast,
blue
Kennel
one?
Cuddles.
Does
What?
he have the jeans on or is he all furry again?
No, it's the dark blue. It's like a very dark blue gray ish with like metallic pants.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because there's another beast coming out yet still. a
Yeah,
gray
on the
one.
card. On the card, yeah, the
Yeah.
card. The anniversary one.
Yeah.
So you were able to pre-order those and still get like them on a sale, like even through a pre-order?
They had a sale going on, and I actually pre-ordered them without the sale. Then, like I guess a couple weeks later, I was going up there to check out some Star Wars stuff, and I noticed that all action figures were like I think it was like 20% off or something like that. Like so, I just reordered. I canceled my pre-order, and I basically did another pre-order with the sale. So-
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
And then I saw a bunch of and they just released 2 of the figures out of the wave. I haven't received the whole wave, but I only got 2 of them.
Okay.
And
That's
you
all I
found
do.
you found a case of Star Wars figures at Walmart or wherever.
Yeah. I found that second wave of retro cards for Star Wars at a Target.
So
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh,
They're-
I think the ones you put those pictures in the chat, right?
yeah. Just to get JD riled up.
So what are those supposed to be like?
That's okay, Dom. That's okay. JD did the same thing to me today too.
I know, probably. we get, I know we get each other a little, our wars boiling here and there.
Which retro figures are those supposed to be homaging though? Because those had like silver, like
The
almost like
40th
silver and black.
anniversary Star Wars
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
40th
for
anniversary.
Empire Strikes Back. So like the
Packaging didn't look like familiar. Like I don't know, or at least I don't remember it.
hey
yeah,
JD,
that's how
did
they
you
look.
shave the middle of your chin, or is your beard
No.
just stuck in your shirt?
It's just white.
Yeah, it just it's all there. It just pulls apart there.
Imagine that. Just
I used to do that actually. Just have all that shaved out.
oh, man.
And by the way, Brian, Hasbro Pulse also sent me the first wave, like the first retro card waves, and they were destroyed.
They were right,
All of them.
and they pack them all in single boxes, and they're
Yeah,
still
and-
fucked
and
up.
they-
That means
they
they
were
fucked
still
up before
fucked
they
up,
put them in
yeah.
there.
I was about
And-
to ask if they did that for you, if they're still doing that because they've done that for all of my orders except one.
And the funny thing is me and Brian, like, you're like, they put them in single boxes. It should be safe, and fucking, that was my like underlying decision to fucking buy from them and not worry about it, and
Yep.
fucking.
And I usually
That's what
their
you
stuff usually comes from FedEx.
For
Do you think
messing with me.
Fuck your couch.
it's just FedEx. Do you think it's just FedEx fucking the shit up? Because that's usually that
My
delivers.
boxes
They were
were
fucked.
immaculate. They were perfect. It
Some
was just
of my boxes were
inside.
immaculate.
Someone
yeah.
fucked it up before they put it in the box.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like frustration, like in the factories, like these motherfuckers are still making me work. Fuck these fucking figures. People are buying this bullshit. Like who knows, right? Like they're gonna fucking get a surprise when they open this shit. Because I mean that is a thing, right? To have if you're that type of mitten box collector.
Yeah.
Fuck
Fuck that guy. Or girl.
Well, for those type of like figures, those retro carded figures, I can't, like, I know some people do open them up if it's a figure that they haven't received before, but because all these figures eventually come out in the regular releases and box, so like but most I would say 90% of the time those figures are being bought just to keep on card and just for just the appearance of them.
The funny
All
thing
about
is,
that
the cards
retro
look better
packaging.
than the figures. So just buy like artwork. Just buy artwork and frame it without the stupid figure, right?
It's true. Some of the especially the second wave, like the Snowspeeder Luke the card. It looks amazing. Like the fucking the Rebel Trooper, the Snow Rebel Trooper is the card looks great. Like it's just they're doing a good job with it. I wish the card was a little thicker, but understand how to keeping your costs down low.
Yeah. See, like what
Because
Gary,
like when they do the anniversary cards that you get from like the conventions and everything that that are worth like $300-$400 now, it's like they're double card, like they're really thick, right, JD? Like they're double thickness, and they don't use tape or glues. It's like the plastic is in between the two cardboard pieces that they like kind of fold together. So it's nice, that plastic piece ain't gonna fall off anytime. The glue is not gonna dry off. So these cards, they're glued. Like the plastic is glued right to the card. So over time, that glue
It's
is
like
gonna
this. It's
dry up.
It's some sort of heat process that they use. There's a stamp that goes down and actually melts it to the card back. But like what you're talking about with the Star Wars Celebration and stuff like that, it's like it's two of those pressed together
Yeah,
around the blister pack. So it's like
they're
the
not gonna
blister
fall
pack is
off
in between. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that eventually
Like
Yeah.
these-
drying up and
But
separating.
they only do that for those exclusive ones. though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
what I'm saying. The show exclusive ones are have a nicer, quality of card and
They're
thicker.
they're all like foil back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these are just very thin. Like they're almost as thin as like they're actually thin with the 3 3/4 size cards.
Mhm.
They're not any thicker, just bigger.
Dude, just buy the poster and frame it, and it'll look just as good.
Oh, see, now you just reminded me because
You
that
buy
was
the poster and frame it, Gary.
Yeah,
I
Gary,
would
that
buy-
doesn't make any damn
Yeah.
sense. No, what you do is you buy all the figures, you put them in a big shadow box,
Gary,
and you
Gary,
treat that as
a-
a giant picture.
Yeah,
Ja-
a big, thick
Gary's
shadow
just trying
box.
to talk shit because he's like those figures suck anyway. Why would you even bother buying them?
Because they're
Jedi.
Jedi.
Trying to start shit.
Huge bags.
Spawn.
Listen.
Spawn comes with a fucking collector box.
Gary's dead to me now after the other show where he's trashing the Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now he's
gosh.
trashing
Dude,
Star Wars.
I
He's dead to
don't.
me.
I think we need to give a heads up, but we need to talk about Clone Wars and what happened
At the
and-
end?
We did that already.
No, not we didn't.
No,
talk-
he wants to
You
talk
missed your
about
opportunity,
the
Gary.
ending.
Oh,
Dude.
Dude. Gary's gonna complain about the Jedi.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about anything. All I'm gonna say is like a cool character can be made out of any gender in any genre you think about. Ahsoka is just a kick-ass character, and kudos to her for what she accomplished through all that. So that's all I'll say.
Spoilers.
Who came to her aid? It was not a Jedi. We'll just say that much, right?
Mm.
The
I was
Jedi
gonna
were
ask-
actively getting killed.
Wait, droids came to her aid. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she got a few droids and some clones,
and look
and,
look where that got them.
and Anakin was still her supporter, and we
Yeah.
give Anakin shit because he turned into Vader. So
Did you feel
Wait,
bad?
who gives
Did you feel
Anakin
bad
shit
for
for
felt
turning
really
into
bad.
No one gives Anakin shit.
Those
Gary,
droids,
spreading false headlines again.
those droids got fucked up.
they really did.
It's like, oh, I don't want to be your friend, dude. I want to. Don't shoot them. Don't shoot them. Don't kill those other clones that are killing us. But fuck the droids that are helping us.
Was it heart wrenching to watch? Like if you follow that series and then you watch that finale, did you feel it? Is it something that makes you well up?
It's not
I
so
mean-
much heart wrenching. There's a couple heartstring moments, but that episode, it's just the whole scenario that they put them in. Like
Mhm.
It's very intense.
they're fighting to escape at the same time. This fucking ship's crashing into a plane.
Yep.
It's fucking great.
It
It's
is
just
great. It's so well done.
Yeah.
It's so well done. It's so well written.
Yeah.
You know, it hits all the right emotions at the right level. The pace is great. The musical score is great. Those fucking 3 movies and add in movie number 4 titled Solo should learn a lot from whoever put those together because it's incredible.
Dave Filoni.
Do you think the
Yeah.
limits? Do you think the limits of what can they do is like a hindrance because like one is live action and one is animation? So when you're doing the animation,
No.
you're only
Nope.
limited by the imagination.
No.
There's no
It's the
budget.
story, Jose. The
Yeah.
animation isn't doing anything that you couldn't do in film
Live
special
action.
effects.
No, but the
It's just a
story,
better
the
story.
stakes, the things that's happening, like the scale of it. Like, is it something that
Nope.
you could see be possible in the cartoon because it's
Nope.
a cartoon and not because you have a movie budget to work with? And we can't do this. This idea is too big because it will cost too much. Like
I mean,
Well,
what was the
dude.
budget for the Mandalorian season 1?
Yeah,
It
but
was
it's also,
something fucking stupid. I don't think they're worried about any sort of budget with that stuff.
mm.
it's also
You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing is, though, too, there's something to be said about episodic storytelling as well. I mean, I think that just
Yeah.
lends to sometimes a better story.
Mhm.
As long as you don't pull like a Netflix and run like 3 more episodes than you really needed to, kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
It was.
Was everybody caught up on that? Dave, you watched it too? You're all caught up.
Thank God I've been cursing them all out already.
It's like I know what happens. I know what happens. Gary, that shit you mentioned about buying a poster, is that like a viable option when it comes to like the artwork that you see on these action figure packages? Is that
I
like a
mean,
thing? I don't recall ever like.
No,
being
I'm
able to
just,
do something.
I think I'm being kind of a jackass just for
Yeah,
the sake
he
of sake of arguments and conversations. And like I get it, like the retro feels like when you look at the packaging for stuff and you think about it, it's cool. It's but I feel like we've seen so much of the retro Star Wars stuff in the last 15 years that but I get it when you see like a third party TF box that looks kind of retro, it hits you. Look, I'm the first to admit that if I saw toys packaged like how Kenner used to do Mask with like animation on the front and then the actual toy on the back with all like the features labeled and kind of like the like that would hit me pretty cool. But at some point, I mean, let's be honest, sometimes the figures look pretty trashy no matter who made them, and the packaging looks better, and it's like, well, then just buy some artwork from that from that property that you like and look at that. That's all.
So do you feel the same way like when it comes to like statues?
I personally don't own any. I don't own any statues.
Like like if you see a really cool statue, right, that it looks exactly how you want the character to look, why buy the character 15 times? Just buy the one statue.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all. I think because the statues are designed right of usually as a higher end piece to look good. I know you guys talked about it, Brian, on ETR the other night, but like the Super 7 stuff. We all joke about those 3 3/4, 5 POA stuff that's supposed to look kind of retro, as if they made Aliens toys in 1984, and what would they look like? But they're really crummy, bad physical items. But the artwork that they're presented on looks pretty cool, So I get it.
Good.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so just buy.
I never even bothered looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the appreciation for the art and a statue, but I know with some of us, like, it's more about fussing around with the thing as opposed to just, owning like the character itself. It's more like, hey, it looks cool over here and I could pose it in this way and I can put it with this other line of toys that, I mean, that's at least with me lately. It's been more of that, what I mean?
That's been the same thing with me too, Dave. We're buying like some of these fans project figures that I never like owned before. Like it's that little bit of boredom, and it's like so you search at the sites and this is cheap. I'll get this. I always wanted it. Now like messing with them, like I picked up. Like I had this Causality set of like those Thundercons from back in the day. I sold that set, like what I'm saying, and I just rebought it. Like for cheaper than what I sold it for, and just realizing again like how much appreciation I had for like the articulation and stuff like that, and then I still do collect like chug scale things. So now like I had gotten like, just to go back to what Gary said, like what you get, like I had gotten some of these pieces also were like lost in the mail, so I was like a little nervous. Like the steel core like arrived, I got that like on Friday. That thing was lost for like a couple of weeks in the mail where tracking wasn't updated. I got this thing that, like, I don't know if you heard this site called Ready Sets, but it's like they sell these sort of like these cardboard sort of cut out like dioramas. They have like a building sort of like street urban like set, and then they have like a futuristic, basically like Star Wars / Transformers type like playset. So I actually just ordered one because it was like really cheap. It was like $40 or $45. That shit was lost in the mail, but it arrived and it came, and I was like, oh, it was pretty like way bigger than I thought it would be. Like, what I'm saying? Even though they give you the dimensions, it's not like I measured the shit myself. So pretty surprised to see how big it is. But the way you said, like looking at these now, I'm like, what do these go with? And I'm like, oh, these actually still would look good with like the Make Toys like cross dimension stuff, like things like that, like because like some you try to put these next to some of the the official stuff, it's like, nah, that don't work.
Can I see that? Can you put it closer to the camera?
Oh, this is.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean,
Jose, it still looks cool.
Yeah, the articulation, the design of it, like a lot of this stuff still holds up. So I don't feel like I'm getting this stuff in, and I'm like, man, this shit don't work no more. This is old. Like, I'm like, oh damn, like this is still pretty damn good compared to some of the things that we get that come out today.
Yeah, I've got that Menasor on display with the Combiner Wars Superion with a couple, upgrade kits on it, and upgrade kits on the Superion. That is.
Yeah,
it looks good, man. It's the right height. It looks good.
Yeah, it works. It works, So that Smart Robin like came in. That thing was lost for a couple of days because the post office marked it like delivered, and then they scanned it again, saying like no secure location available. But then on eBay, it's saying like delivered. So the guy's hitting me up like, hey, like if everything's all good, leave me feedback. And I'm like, man, like listen, I didn't get the package. I went to pick it up at the post office. I actually went to pick it up because they left a slip. They couldn't find it. And I'm like, oh man, like here we go. Been having real bad luck with the post office like over the past couple of months with shit. So they wound up taking my information down. They were like, we'll call you. I was like, oh, well, when am I going to get a call? And the chick was like, there's not even a guarantee, but like, like either the manager or I'll call you back. We'll look for the package. So I'm thinking, they'll never find that shit. The dude was trying to call me like a scammer. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you crazy, man. I got so much good feedback. I had to set some screenshots. I'm like, I'm not a scammer. Like, I had explained the situation to them. And, but thankfully, they found it, which I really had no faith in because my post office sucks. But basically, everything I've been ordering came in, and I've been enjoying it. Like, again, these are some older pieces, but it's fun. And then just figuring out, like, what they do still fit in, like, with like how they fit in with other things that are still in my collection. It's been like a nice, interesting like experience.
So Jose, like to piggyback off of what you just said, so like I jumped into the Master of the Universe, the classic stuff for a little bit, and I had bought, I don't know, maybe a good like 15 figures, maybe 20, and I started selling a few here and there off at NJCC. Gary had spent the weekend with me one time, and I sold a few of them on eBay. I think I gave a few to Dom. I kept the few that I thought like I really wanted, like the main bad guys, right? And the thing is, I still don't have them all. So like I have like maybe Beastman, Merman, Skeletor, and Evil Lyn still maybe, right? And I don't have and I have a Trapjaw, but I don't like the version I have. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. So I still need, Triclops. Who else?
That's what I'm playing. That's what I'm playing.
Which Trapjaw do you have, Dave?
So I have the Filmation one. That's the one I want.
That's a creepy one. Open that jaw. His mouth is awesome.
That's the one I want, the creepy one.
Yeah.
So if anybody has one, they want to trade me that one for the Filmation one, classic one, I have it. Whatever. So Jose, to finish what I meant to say, but
sorry.
No, it's fine. I like it. It's fine. Maybe do it again. What I meant was, like, I might still like probably hold on to these for a little bit if I could find the other ones. If not, I'll get rid of them. But there's other weird characters in that line that I've always like admired that really had no connection to because I really didn't know who they were. There's one called Ceratus. If you guys are familiar with that character, he's like the same. He's like Whiplash's brother or something, in like another continuum of He-Man or something. He always just looked cool to me. Like I said, this is a fucking cool toy, and if I could find him for the right price, I'd buy him because he goes with the Mythic Legion shit. And I bought it. I bought it for $40. Or 45, something like that on eBay. And I was happy. I was like, fuck, this, exactly what I wanted. I'm glad I bought it because I never got to like see it in person. And once I had it in hand, I was like, he fits. He's cool, you know? So that's an older figure too. That's probably at least 3 or 4 years old, maybe more.
Yeah. It's nice to see that you could still have an appreciation for like the older stuff, like especially like these Thundercons I had before, so I knew what to expect. And then I'm like, damn, like why did I get rid of this set? Like, but as time goes on, like our tastes change and our collections change, but now I'm realizing like a lot of this things like this that I got rid of like back in the day, I do still enjoy. So it's still nice to know that even though they're older, like they still hold up. Because then I'd be like, oh, this is a piece of shit. And then, with the other figures that I never had, like the Steel Core, I got a couple of those Function X figures, the Mind Wipe, the Smart Robin. Just by watching the videos, I'm like, damn, those look pretty cool. Always kind of were curious, but just never went in. So just rediscovering them now. And then, of course, the old adage, it could work against you. But I've been picking these up relatively, I think, cheaper than retail. So then, as they say.
What did Steel Core cost you?
I got with the trailer, and it was 180, which I thought was good because
that one always fluctuated. It always went high, then it went a little lower, then it went back up, and that's a still significant price for that.
I wish I would have caught it like on a low run, because every time like I could remember ever searching for the figure, it was always like super expensive or just not available, like a price that I wouldn't have been willing like to pay. But when I found the set, like it came, it was the figure itself came with the trailer, and the picture it had a couple of like those other little like
chess
chess pieces. And when I was looking at some of like the original prices of that, I was like, damn, they were charging like 30 or 40 bucks for like one of these like little things, so when I was like, okay, so this comes with steel core, the trailer, and I think it came with like 2 extras of like these, I was like, okay, I think 180 was like worth it, or like, and I was like, oh well, I'm willing to pay it now, because that's a figure I've always wanted for years, and then I forgot about it, and then I picked up this the Severo cord version, because it's essentially the same thing.
Wasn't that the TFCon exclusive?
It was an exclusive, but I must not like have paid attention like when this originally came out, because it was not like on my radar at all. And then when I started,
it sold out quick.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, like when I realized that it was that steel core, that old blue figure that I always had wanted, I was like, I'll grab this. And
that steel core figure had a hold on us. That's what it was, because it did with me too. Because I didn't buy it when it came out, but I bought that maybe about 2 years ago.
Oh, for real?
We were doing the show already. We were friends and everything, and I bought this like. I was like, should I buy this?
Did you get it with this thing? You got the
trailer? No, I
too?
didn't get the trailer. I just got the figure.
Okay.
Just the figure. And I could look at him from here too, and I'm just like, that motherfucker, I always wanted that thing, and it's funny to hear you talk about it too, because it's like, it's that figure that was so hard to get, but now it's like, it's outdated, right? But it still looks cool.
No, it's still very good looking.
Cool.
And I
like
think
this weapon too. He's got like that weird green.
I'm gonna go fucking grab mine.
See, and the only thing, like, actually, like, because it is an old mold, and then I'm surprised, like, when I actually started doing the research on it and found out, like, that's like a 2011, 2012, like, figure. I'm like, shit, that's 8 years old. But the articulation and everything that you could do with it still holds up. Like, the only really bad thing is that it doesn't really there's no wrist swivel. I mean, that's the only real thing you could knock it on. Other than that, articulation still fucking is like head and shoulders, above a lot of figures you get nowadays.
Their engineering was fire then. It's like, after they got like through the headmasters, they just kind of started falling apart.
Yeah. And then this trailer, like, I feel like that's another thing that just completes the look of that blue steel core figure. Because
now you're gonna make me go look for one.
Okay, it's actually
make me go look for one?
You could find one in my search. There's one that's out there pretty cheap. I think
Hey, Dave,
if you want to get it, $65. Look how dope that looks together.
You guys suck. I'm not going to go buy that shit now.
You need it. Look at that, man. Look at
You
that.
need
Dave.
that, man.
You need it, Dave. Why would you not get it? You have everything else.
David, look, you
You're
can have the
fucking-
little
you need a
men
home.
in
Yeah, the
little
men,
men
that's
in the
their
truck.
home.
Load up
like
the
a
little soldiers.
infantry, like a little.
These guys are
infantry.
not friends, guys.
They need
You
a
know?
place to live and
And
stay
dude,
warm.
look, like there's even like little weapon guns that pop out for like these little guys that they can hold and
Yeah.
shit. Like
They have chats and like they podcast in that trailer, Dave.
You are so stupid, bro.
But it's nice, man. Testament to how well, I guess, like I said, in my opinion, these figures like were made. Like like that. Considering how late I am to them, still super super enjoyable. So I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Those have been my purchases, and now like I just keep looking because now I'm running out of stuff. I'm like, like some of these other pieces I could skip, or they're just too expensive. Like I'm not willing to pay like a 120 or 150 or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's just the itch. Scratch that itch for now. What's it gonna be next time when I'm feeling like I need to get something?
Well, isn't I like what you're feeling or what you're doing, Jose, is like any type of going back and buying a toy line that you used to enjoy or knew about is like, it's like what we do. Like, it's going to eventually always happen to every toy line where somebody's eventually going to go back and say, I want to pick up some of those, Prime toys and check them out, and see, and just go back and enjoy they might not have any or out of the line for a while, or maybe didn't pick them up because they just couldn't afford it back in the time when they were out, and now they're gonna go back and pick them up, and that creates again the the love of what we do and collecting and stuff like that. And it encourages us to always go back. It's great to get new stuff, but like there is there is a slew of shit that came out in the last 20 years of great toys, especially in third party. So,
and I think it just shows that it's like like the amount of stuff, like you said, Dom, that has come out, and then we're so used to that bombardment, right? And we've all picked up things like the way like Brian or even you, when you get those when you ship your pile of loots and shit, and then you're getting a bunch of stuff at a time. There's gonna be things that get lost in the cracks, that fall through the cracks, right?
Always.
There's going to be certain pieces that you're going to be like, look at it, you're going to look at the package and be like, oh, all right, cool, but you're going to toss it to the side. And then like the way Brink just opened up his gift, like he said, that Tactical Prime that we got him, and he's like, oh man, this is dope, but he's discovering it like how many months later. And how long ago did that come out, like in general? Like maybe like over a year now?
A year ago, yeah the Prime did.
So now even I'm looking at that thing though, because I'm like seeing when Brian held it up yesterday, and then I've seen pictures. Like that's another one that I'm like, that looks cool, but like personally, I just I didn't want to drop the 190 on it.
I'm with you. I'm exactly with you, Jose, because I was going to pull the trigger on the camouflage one, and I never did. And that's a toy that I probably will come back to if it ever is available. And if it's at a cheaper price, it might be enticing me. It will entice me to buy it,
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
This is what I picture Brian doing when he got his birthday gift. Oh, I'll open that later.
It was a perfect gift. I wasn't ready for it, but I knew it was something that I wanted.
And then after him posting all those hamster videos, I reminded him, because it's like he's trying to hint to us he wants a hamster for his birthday this year. Next year. And I reminded him, oh hey, I never played with my last birthday present.
Speaking of pile loot, I should ship this.
It's time.
How big is it?
It's not that big, but I guess I'm just waiting for more stuff to come in. I don't know. That after the next Fans Toys Airbots drops, I think I'll hit that one.
It's fun.
Or when the Thundercats come in.
It's funny too, because some of these pieces that I'm looking at and that I might still want, but I'm like, the price. I'm like, man, I gotta let me hold out till Black Friday. Let's see if this thing drops. Like remember that Quantron set? Like, didn't they have that shit for like 125 or something like that? Dirt cheap, and I was like, what? Like, it would be stupid not to get this. And I never did, and now I'm like, I kind of want that thing now. So I'll wait. I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah, maybe another Black Friday sale.
Jose, at $100, that's the right price too. I want that shit too.
I think I was waiting. Like 125 was too much. Like 100, yeah, I'll get it for 100.
You know what's funny? I say that I want the fucking Quantron. I have the Computron, the Warpatron one. Never even combined it.
Wow, for real?
Never.
Wow.
I think I waited on the one of the 5 for so long that I wound up just never even taking that one out of the box.
You lost interest. Did you ever pick up this MMC piece? And I was literally this close to pulling that trigger too. The Seraphicus Promenade, like the Nova Prime, like one that you had to buy them separate.
I had that in the trailer.
I bought that, and then I sold it.
I sold mine too, but it was cool. It was very, when it came out, it was already kind of dated, because it was like it was like a minifigure with like an additional like armor, but it had like aesthetically assembled, it looked awesome. Like it looked really, really good on the shelf.
Yeah.
But it had just been delayed so long that it was kind of just an outdated idea of it's kind of the original third party, where here's like a smaller robot, and then we added all this stuff to it that didn't really stay on super tight, but you could put it together and look at it. It looked good.
That's
what
I
had the white version, and then the black version,
dark version,
coming out and all that.
So
I got it on some super Black Friday deal. I was like, sweet, and then I just never did anything with it.
And you sold it? You sold yours, Ryan?
I sold it at.
You sold.
At least I think I did.
What was the Make Toys version of that same character?
Hyper
Nova
Nova?
Hyper
Nova,
Nova.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
was-
That
I always wanted that. Never.
Yeah,
never
me
forget.
too. I never
Never
pulled the
got
trigger because that was like $200 or something, right? Back in the day. Like I felt like I remember in the beginning, I just felt like something like that was too much for like one piece. Like, you know, like even these causality pieces, it took me a minute because when I started seeing like pictures of these on Instagram, and that like I think these were sort of like my introduction to third party too. I'm like, those figures are small, they look dope, they're articulated, but $60 for this. I'm like, this is smaller than a deluxe, or it's like a deluxe class figure. I'm like, I wasn't ready then, you know, but then you get them in hand and then you see what you get. You're like, okay, you know, okay. It sort of opened me up to that idea of like, okay, this is $100 figure. Okay, I'll drop that. You know?
That was the first combiner I bought piece by piece and was like anxiously waiting.
Oh, the causality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Menasor. I was like, oh,
Yeah, the Menasor,
I'm
yeah.
gonna combine them soon.
Yeah. I was a little late to them. I think by the time I discovered these and came in, 3 out of the 5 were out. But I still remember to wait for those last 2. So same thing, like that anticipation, and then also the Pharaoh Rex, like that one.
Yeah.
I was getting them one by one. They weren't complete yet, and
I finished that late too. I
So-
finished that like 2 years ago too.
oh
yeah,
wow, for
I
real?
was late.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, you were really late to that.
I had because I had the Nero Rex first,
Mhm.
and I was like, you know what? I don't need the other one. But then I was like, but I really want the other one too.
That's still one of my favorite third party
Oh, yeah.
combiners. Like I don't think I'll ever sell it. Like I'll keep those forever. You know, it doesn't matter if there's a better version or what. Like there's just something about those that I really, really like. You know,
JD,
And
what were you gonna say? I'm gonna cut you.
Oh,
off.
I was late. I was late to the Pharaoh Rex game as well. Like I missed the whole original release, and then they ended up re-releasing them again, whatever, like 2 years later,
Yes.
and then
I
that's when
remember-
That's when I picked them up because
Yep.
that was like a battle with all that shit too. It's like
yeah,
Yes.
like that's why like I think it was the majority of people waiting and seeing. Like I know a lot of people jumped on board with the MMC stuff because it was just. I remember at the time when we were on like bot cons and like the TF cons, they were like, "Oh, MMC is the best. MMC is the best," and everyone was going for it. But then like you had TFC, you had all the fucking other fucking companies that were making it, and they just didn't know which one that you were going to go with because everyone liked it. Everyone liked a little bit the different style.
yeah.
I
TFC had a
remember-
following with combiners already.
Yeah.
That Unique Toys one though, I remember seeing the price of it, and I was like, "Wow, that's really expensive." And then I saw Pia do a review of it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is so not worth the money."
Yeah, that was the worst looking one
Yeah.
out of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember early Instagram days. I posted a picture. It wasn't my picture either of the Nero and the Pharaoh Rex together, and I made like a comment. Which would you pick?
Mhm.
Probably the most fucking traction I ever got on Instagram post ever. It
Yeah.
was like 300 something comments. On
Wow.
that. Imagine, just think about it. Nowadays, you put a picture of that, be like, oh, what the fuck's that thing? You know, most people would be like,
Yeah.
it
was
doesn't have
when-
LEDs in it. I don't want it.
Oh,
Yeah, the stuff, it was hot. It was like a different time then. It was, new, exciting. Like we're all fucking jaded like old men now when it comes to this. But I remember that time, man. Like that rush to get, you get that shit. You're just happy to have it. You fucking putting it out there, like you know what I'm saying. Like it was almost like a race to see who got their shit first. Like Yeah, but those, I mean, that Pharaoh Rex, I know like it's not perfect, but that shit is like just combined. That whole thing combined is pretty impressive looking. The TFC one was always one that I thought looked cool also, but something was off about it. Like when you look at that thing combined compared to the MMC, I'm like, it's no question. The MMC fucking just killed that look.
It's like that
So
beer
much-
goggle thing, like
Yeah,
beer goggles.
same shit. Yeah. they killed that design so much so that they actually, I don't know if you guys know, the developers of the Transformers Earth Wars game, they took the design of the Predacons from MMC in that game. Like it's crazy when you look at it. You could really tell with Razor Claw, but when you see
That's
him
it.
all
Oh, the Razor Claw. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you see them all together, you're like, oh, that's Pharaoh Rex. And they did the same thing with the Motor Masters like game design. It looks like the Transform mission.
Transform mission.
Yeah. So pretty interesting to see like how like the third party stuff influenced something that's kind of like official. You know, you could tell that the developers are third party fans. You know,
I just had those transform mission ones out the other week. Transformed them from robot to car.
see, and those already at this point are like a little bit older. See, so that's nice. Like to hear that you're pulling out like older stuff and like enjoying it, you know, and liking that stuff. Like, Dave? Do you plan on putting that Warbitron like together? Since you
I
have
don't.
it
That thing's in the stock room like
Oh,
right
so it's
now. I'm
put
like,
away,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like, the problem is like it's more like a real estate thing right now. So like,
you got to
these
pick and choose.
mythics have
what
taken
you're gonna
over
have.
the
Yeah.
room, and you know the 1/6 scale stuff. So I don't know. I might just do it because like last time we started talking about these chugs or whatever you call them. We were talking about the MMC stuff a few weeks ago. I started playing with them all like the next day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at this guy. Look at this one. This one's still fucking new. You know, I didn't give this much attention. But
You start like rediscovering the stuff you had, and like so maybe you like we were saying, JD going to the third floor, and he's got the store up there, like you know, and you're just grabbing stuff that maybe you just never got to appreciate before. It almost like is getting something new, like if you've never messed with it, you know.
And then you got friends like Dave that give you a hard time. Bro, I want to buy one of those. Can I buy some Mythic Legions from you?
You got the goods. You got the goods. It's like me harassing him for his Metroplex.
yo, the thing is, Jose, I told you it's yours. You can have it.
I know,
You know,
I
I
know.
just gotta find the weapons. You know, you want the Metroplex, it's yours. But like JD's like pulling teeth. He's like, I don't know what I want to give you yet because I haven't decided what I'm playing with yet.
I asked you what you're looking for.
Yeah, and you said no to everything I was looking for. So there you
What?
go, done deal.
Nuh-uh. I don't have the ones you're looking for because I'm looking for them.
I know.
Uh-huh.
That's fine, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Are you guys like discovering now, like since Dave, you're getting into like the customizing and stuff. Like, do you see you're hitting JD up for more stuff like that? Like things like things that you could fuck up, basically little parts, pieces, any spare things,
Not really.
anything like that? No.
No, I mean we talk about it from time to time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like JD right now, JD's in his Dio world. I'm trying to get him back into the mythic customizing world, you know, but he's in his Dio world, so you know I don't want to push too hard.
Well,
I don't want to push too hard.
some people give me money to build stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of obligated to do what I'm paid for.
Weren't you saying
Uh-huh.
that earlier? Like that's the thing. Like now that you were used to building like a lot of things for yourself for like your own enjoyment, but now like you can't really do that because of commissions and stuff. So
Oh
you have to
yeah,
find the
yeah. I
balance,
said that in the
right?
chat or whatever. It's like I feel Pinkerton's pain. Like not being able to build stuff for yourself because you're building stuff for everyone else.
Yeah.
But like the before I got started on the last couple of things that we're doing, we were kind of doing our own thing, just
Yeah.
kind of trying to finish some stuff up to get it out of the way
Yeah.
because it's taking up table space. But I can feel the pain. You know what I mean? I
Right.
get it.
It's blessing and a curse because like
Yeah.
you want to be able to make that cool shit, but then it's also nice to make money, right?
Yeah, it's just like I mean I've said it before, like with tattooing. You know what I mean? I'm drawing for everyone else. I never get to draw for myself.
Yeah.
I never get to draw whatever I want to draw. Whatever wants to pour out of my head. Everybody's, I'm too busy drawing stuff for everybody else that wants, specific things.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, it's still drawing. But same thing.
When you do that, and you let's say like you draw up a tat that you might want to get like for yourself, is that
Yeah,
something
I get
you hand
jealous.
off? You hand that off to like an artist, like whoever's going to tattoo you. You'll give that to them, or do you let them put their own sort of spin on it?
I mean, like both of my hands, I told them like kind of what I wanted. Like most everything that I have. Well, all the
I just-
Hellboy stuff is like straight out of a book.
Mm-hmm.
I have a zombie Wolverine fighting the Hulk. That's straight from the comic book cover.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you
like
have
some
any
of the
sort
pieces? Some of the pieces I just kind of let them do their own thing. Like both my hands, I wanted a Skeletor and I wanted a Mumra. You know what I mean? And I just let him kind of run with it. So
Yeah.
he don't know who the fucking characters are. That was the only shitty part. But I like
gotta
Todd's
give him
style. You know what I
reference.
mean?
Oh, okay. You had to supply like the reference materials?
No,
Like,
no. I just told him like what I was looking for. Like my one buddy drew up like it was this very simple traditional rose, and it had like a skull coming out of the top, and I'm like, ooh, that would be cool for Skeletor.
Yeah.
Yo,
So,
JP,
like,
I got a question for you. Don't go. Keep on. Go.
Oh, but
Okay.
yeah, just like give him the basic idea of like what I want to do, and then he does his thing.
Okay.
He does his own research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just kind of let them do their own thing.
I was just wondering, like, since you're like a tattoo artist yourself, so if there's any sort of hang-ups when you have somebody else, like, doing their art, like, on you, like, because how you are or how you would be, like,
Yeah. So like the only piece that I think I've ever had any issue would be I have a picture that I drew of Thor, my dog that had passed years ago.
Mhm.
Like his head is really big on my thigh, and I drew it, and my boss tattooed it on me. I mean, it's not done, but like when he did it, he's like, I don't know what you want me to do with this. I'm like, dude, just do your own thing. So like
Mhm.
he copied what I did line for line, and then just started shading it and stuff
And then
like
embellished,
Yeah.
yeah. Sort of like what an inker does, right? Like on a comic book, like
Yeah,
somebody
pretty much.
does the layouts, but the inker is really the one putting,
that. Yeah.
unless you're just tracing lines and not adding like your own flair, but a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like I've seen inkers like change artwork almost, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, from the art. It's like, whoa, so interesting, like, to think, because I'm sure it's the same thing, when you're doing
Yeah.
something.
So what do you want to say, Dave?
I was gonna say you have Mumra on one hand, you have Skeletor on the other.
Uh-huh.
Like before you like decide what hand you're gonna jerk off with, do you like talk to it and like you're like, spirits of evil?
That's wow.
It's me, you royal boob.
Hey, He-Man.
No.
It's my sword now.
Now that Dave just brought that up, and now I'm wondering, fucking, whose face gets violated.
Oh,
Well,
I have the power.
luckily I don't have to do that. So
that's wrong.
I know.
You did once or twice in your life, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
Wow.
We'll just say they've both been violated. Okay.
Everybody's
Wow,
ambidextrous
that's
when it comes to that, right?
That's talent.
Quarantine has been ongoing for a long
Yeah.
time.
Talent.
And start discovering things.
I mean,
about
not
it.
anytime recently.
We got a switch hitter over here.
Yeah, but so anybody else, like what Gary had asked, any recent pickups that you might want to throw?
Yeah.
out?
Which hand do you violate?
Switch it up. I've gotten some cool stuff. I've gotten a bunch of presents from you guys. I didn't
Whoa.
want to like kind of say anything yet because apparently I'm still waiting on a few of the items. But you guys here, the rest of the Jackal Squad have been very nice and bought me a bunch of great art supplies that have been very handy right now. So it's fucking awesome. I want to set it all up and take a nice picture and thank you guys the right way. But bringing it up now, so yeah, I got that's been trickling in the mail like a package here and there.
Feeding that new passion, man. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Gary,
I got-
had sent me something recently too. Gary just sent me stuff. Brian sent me something. I'm just
I put it in
Total
the
goodies,
package.
man.
I put a package in the mail So I'm going to have a package in the mail to you tomorrow.
Oh, all right. You just wanted to get in on the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to. I
down
don't want
to
to feel
man.
like I don't do anything.
So man, I can't complain. Really can't. Chris, I got something from Chris this week. Shit. It's just I got something for Chris this week. He had me order him something, and then I have to send it to him. So it's been kind of busy over here with the USPS and FedEx ringing the Cologne doorbell, but it's been fun. I can't complain.
Hopefully, they haven't been losing your
the
shit
rates.
in the mail.
Their rates went up for some reason. The motherfuckers.
Oh, well, what do you think? Well, I wonder why.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've been busy. I've been keeping busy. Packages keep coming in, and it's keeping me, keeping me from going crazy, kind of.
Yeah.
I never really shopped in the stores anyway. Like I would never be able to find something in a Walmart or GameStop. So I can't really say that. But it's nice to have stuff coming in, keeping your mind off of other things going on.
Yeah, for sure. It's always important. And it's stuff that you like. It's good because that's stuff you're gonna actually get, some use out of. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some tools in there that, like you said, helpful.
I got a Dremel in the mail today.
What are you gonna do with that?
Did you go cordless?
I'm gonna Dremel some stuff.
What?
Did you go cordless for that, Dave, or corded?
I didn't know. I got corded.
I got corded too because someone told me that depending on what you want to use it for, you might need the power.
Mm-hmm.
For what
Then in
you're doing,
hindsight, I
David,
think I wanted
it
the
doesn't
cordless.
matter.
I mean, I don't see why like the cord would be a problem. Like if you're sitting at a desk or doing stuff like that, like
It gets in the way.
oh, does
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because you're always like going all around and stuff.
Wrestling with a cord.
Answer Gary's question. So sometimes you get some of these heads and they don't actually fit onto some of the toys. So you got to use a Dremel to actually get the hole a little bigger. Some of them don't even have a hole to begin with.
Yep.
Like
Oh,
it's just
so you
all
gotta do it
plastic.
yourself?
You have to
Wow.
make a hole yourself.
Holy
So
shit.
before I bought the Dremel, I used to be able, if there was a slight hole in there, I would fuss around with like scissors or whatever kind of tools that I had, and I would make the hole bigger by shaving it myself, slowly. But with a Dremel, apparently it's going to be one, two, three.
I mean, it's just boom, yeah.
So that, and so we haven't been able to take the dog to the groomer. So I cut her hair. I did a
With the
pretty good
Dremel.
job with the haircut, but her nail.
With the drum.
So I'm gonna use it to shave her nails. To shave her nails down.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
for
I
dogs.
got the idea from you. That's right.
You're gonna use the Dremel for that
Yeah,
to like buff the nails, basically.
yeah,
Like,
buff them down so that we
Yeah.
don't have to clip them.
Can you
Nice,
use the nails for like?
Just use these and grind
make
them.
your mythics look more vicious.
Just use that and
Yeah.
grind them down.
Use
What
this
was that?
giant dog's toenail to
Oh God.
put it stringing around your mythic's neck, right?
Dude, you better not hit her quick. That would be very painful for her.
No.
Yeah, that's why we didn't even want to try it. Like we bought clippers like for Asia because we didn't know like when we would be able to take her, and and it gives you the different like levels. So we go with the highest first just to make sure we're not like zinging her. But even like going like as low to the lowest clip that we had, it's still we would have had to use like no clip to get her to like how we would have liked her. So it was just like thankfully the groomer opened up and we were able to take her. But yeah, Jessie had like did her face like at least so she could see because all her fucking
Yes,
was
yeah.
in her eyes,
Yeah.
and she did a good job, man. And I was worried because the first time she tried to give her a cut years ago, she fucked her up. She chopped her up so bad. I'm like, she looks like she's my baby, but she looks fucking horrible. Like, don't ever do that
Dude,
again.
no, it's true. There's look, people who do things for a profession that make it look like it's easy are because they are professionals. And I might like to doodle here and there, but I wouldn't try and do what JD does as a professional artist and try
Doodle.
and stick a pin in somebody, right? Because he might make it look really easy when he posts something online, right? Because he's skilled and he's got talent.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I'm finally getting a haircut tomorrow. I can't wait. And
nice.
for like the last 3 weeks, my wife's like, "You want me to try it?" Yeah, I'm like, "Listen, there's nothing that you're gonna do that like it's incredibly moppy and long." I said, "I'm putting a ton of product in it at work." I said, "I'll get by," and Yeah, so I'm gonna go for the Jeremy Renner,
Yeah,
kind of
the
end game
Hawkeye-
look.
the Hawkeye
Yeah,
look,
yeah. Figure I'm gonna go for it, and
Yeah.
that way, if it looks silly and ridiculous and I can't pull it off, then I'll just have her cut it regular afterwards. But I figure it's long enough now that I might as well give it a shot because I don't know if it's gonna be able to be an option much longer.
Don't give me hope.
Well, Gary, Gary, I gotta say, man, you don't know what you're capable of until you try.
Exactly. I might as well try, right? What's the worst
So
that
I've
happens?
been cutting my own hair. I said, "Fuck it, I'll cut the dog's hair." And after I gave her a wash and cut her hair, blow dried it, she looked like she came out of the place. I was just like,
Oh, did you? Oh, so you did a good job.
I mean, not like
Yeah.
a 10,
Send me a
It-
picture. Send
It
me
was
a
like
picture.
a 7.5, but that was like 2 weeks ago. So I got to give her another one. That's why I bought
Okay.
the Dremel, because this time I'm gonna do it everything the right way.
Yeah.
The problem is with the dogs is they get knots everywhere, and if you don't comb her every day, you get a knot
It's
here
hard to
and
get
there.
those
and it's
out.
like,
Yeah.
fuck, it's hard to get them out. I've taken her to a professional salon where they've cut her hair beautifully sometimes, and then like if we don't keep up on her hair and it gets a little too
You have
knotty,
to shave her down.
they
yeah.
shave her down, and she looks like a fucking like a rat.
Like a
piece of shit.
sign. Yeah.
She's all cut up. Her fucking hair's like fucking too short here, too short there, and just because they have to cut in one spot, they're gonna match it up with the rest of the body.
Yeah.
And she looks
Yeah.
like a fucking weirdo. So.
Well, we always tell them like shave her body down, but always leave the teddy bear look for the face.
Teddy bear
Because
face.
we fucking had her completely shaved out one time, and we would just look at her. She looked like she was just ice grilling us, like what I'm saying, like no hair on her face, like just looked like a fucking. Like just skin, like just fucking skin, and just looked mean. And all she had really was just her ears, like that's where like her hair was. But everything else was like shaved down. So we're just like, nah, she gotta have that. She gotta have the hair on her face, like and around the eyes, but just look nice. It's just gotta look nice. You know.
Dave, isn't your daughter old enough? Can't you get her to comb the dog every day?
No. That's
Nah,
all I
she's-
needed to tell my daughter to do it. And
Chloe
all of a
ain't
sudden,
there yet.
Daddy, the
She's-
fucking the brush is like half of my dog's ass, or who knows?
Yeah, man. Well, if you
How
want to
hard
trip
is
to
it
the
to brush
Bronx,
the dog?
if you want to trip to the Bronx, I could give you, the groomer's number. You know what I'm saying? You could drop her off and get her done. If you got no hope.
I'll drop off the dog and drop off a Metroplex.
Right? I'm gonna do a drive-by. I'm just gonna do a drive-by, like you said. Just leave it in the driveway and shit. I'll say hi from 20 feet away.
I'm like, yo, no.
We'll smoke have a socially distant doobie.
You smoke yours from over there. I'll smoke mine from over here. All right.
Both blowing the smoke into the same sky. So
you know. All right. Anybody else? Anybody want to jump in on that? No. Okay. Should we wrap up? Can we
Haven't
just wrap up
gotten
and get the hangout started? I don't know. What do you
I
guys?
got a
think?
quick question for you guys.
mhm.
So, Back to the Future is on Netflix right now. All 3 movies.
Nice.
And the first time I watched that series, I missed the second one. So I watched it 1, 3, and then eventually I got to watch 2 some time much
Wow.
later. And I was kind of curious, like, I don't even think I needed the second movie, right? There's some shit in the beginning of the third movie, and then it's like, I don't think I needed to know what happened in the second movie at all. But I was kind of curious if have you guys watched anything like completely out of order, either on purpose or
Yeah.
you
That-
just never had the opportunity to watch what was in the middle or something like that? I was kind of curious.
Well, that was Terminator for me. Like when I back in the days, I think Terminator was 92, Terminator 2. I saw that and I never saw the original Terminator. So to me, it was like, oh, Arnold's the good guy, and da 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 da. So watching that movie in the beginning, I sort of didn't get like why like Sarah feared him and all that shit. It's like, oh, he's supposed to be the good guy. And then when I saw 1984 Terminator, I was like, oh shit. But I saw it after the second one.
Gotcha.
So watching it with a sort of different appreciation, different set of eyes, but but it didn't make the original like less for me. Like I enjoyed it like just as much, maybe even more. I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to
saw.
think if there's anything else.
Yeah, I saw High School Musical 3 before I saw 1. And just couldn't understand what the fuck was going on. Like,
Oh,
what's the
no.
big deal with high school and what's this singing in the hallways bullshit? You know,
So, Dom, I'm just curious. Like,
What?
you still watch that? Or,
High School Musical.
yeah.
Dude, watch the first one. It's awesome.
Yeah. And then technically all
Dude,
of
I
the
wish
movies-
wish my high school was like that.
What do they break out in song every
Yeah,
fucking
break out a
period?
song right in front of class.
Oh God!
Get up on your desk and start singing a song. His life was like that. I wish I was walking down the street and a fucking Broadway show just opens up out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that's a good point to bring up. Did you guys hear that Hamilton's coming to Disney?
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
I heard that.
What is
Hamilton? Do you know what that is?
Mark Hamill?
No. It's a Broadway show that sells out. Like the tickets are like $300 a piece.
Oh yeah.
It's about the president.
So what? They made a movie of it?
They're gonna do, I guess, a performance for Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Or Disney Plus because the Broadway is closed down, and so they're doing like a performance, and then they're going to air it for Disney Plus,
Oh,
Huh.
nice.
so you can watch Hamilton.
Is it pay-per-view?
No, you just have to buy.
We're gonna all do it as a
service.
podcast together. You didn't know that? We're gonna
Oh,
watch
no.
Disney. Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Are they gonna do it like live, like a live show, or they're gonna just?
No,
I don't
I-
know.
I-
I mean,
I
it
don't
could
know
be
that.
fun. Like,
I think it's going to be a recorded show, but like,
Okay, okay.
it's going to be it's them doing it, and then they just
Yeah.
record it,
Okay.
and then you can watch it anytime. So I don't know whether you call that live. I guess it's live, but
Mm.
it'll probably be like everything
Semi-live.
else where they just throw it up and
yeah,
Yeah.
you
On
get
the-
to
it'll
watch
be
it.
up Friday or
Whee!
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll just be available for whoever.
One of the things I am excited that is coming out is the Toys That Made Us are making a new series called A Toy Store Near You.
Yeah.
Did you guys
saw
watch the
that.
trailer for that?
I did. I did.
No.
It
Bunch
takes
of-
place.
There aren't
in-
any.
It takes place
Toy
now.
Story.
Like it's
Yeah, during
they're interviewing
the-
people during the
This epidemic,
quarantine
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
So and they Dom, did you see Farpoint toys from
Yeah,
from Jersey?
Farpoint
Yeah,
toys,
I was like,
yeah,
damn,
from
I've
the
been
co-
there. Yeah.
They did. I saw a couple of them in that they're doing in Jersey, so it's going to
So-
be interesting. And then they're doing like even like doing all around the world. So it's like, I can't wait. I want to check that out because it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's coming to Amazon, YouTube, a couple other things. So usually these guys they do stuff through Netflix, but I'm wondering if it's so recent, right? There's just like, bam, we'll put it out like as soon as we can, and maybe like these other streaming services can do stuff like quick turnaround. Or something like that.
Because some of the, in the trailer,
Yeah.
they were having interviews with the store employees and owners and talking about like the epidemic and how they're handling it and
JD, they get to your
things they
house
have to
yet?
do.
Huh?
Did they get to your house yet?
No.
House of Toys?
No. Nobody likes me. Come on.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You know where that now where it's going. The next one is like collectors, and they're gonna do a show about collectors and just pick a bunch of collectors. Maybe
You're gonna pick a bunch of douchebags that we all don't like.
I nominate JD.
Like I said, nobody likes me. So
No.
I won't get picked.
Well,
God, man, I hope they choose like some real like douchey people too, so people can get like the real feel of like some of the people in this hobby. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just kind of curious. You know what I mean? Because like you always
You're
watch
not-
stuff, and they always get like these like really like, well groomed people, and they speak all proper and whatnot. And it's like, dude, no, man, I want them to go to a con and find the dark depths of this hobby and get those people on camera.
Get the peoples whose house look like you can't walk through them, and
Well, no, not necessarily that, but like the people that are like, oh, check out my collection, it's better than anybody else's.
why does he have an accent? Oh, look at me!
it's like those documentaries that you think they're doing something positive, but it's actually showing the real like that these people need help.
They refer to themselves in the third person.
Yeah.
It's how they got Tiger King. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a documentary about saving tigers. Bullshit.
Still haven't watched that and have no desire to.
It's funny, bro. You should watch it.
But I like it, like to get these people, like you get them, like interview them in their house, show up their collection, but then like you trail them, like you job shadow them, sort of like on social media, and you can see like how douchey they really are. You know? Look at this guy complaining about G1 versus Beast Wars or something crap like that. It's like.
It's funny because I'm scrolling through Tubi and stuff, and they have all those things on there. And I try with some of the other ones, man, like Armada, Cybertron, Energon, and I just can't. I can't leave it on for like more than a few minutes.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason, it's just like
Cybertron is awesome, man.
I'm trying. Like I watched a little bit of the Japanese version, Super Link, I think it was called, or Galaxy Force. I think Galaxy Force is the one that I think is probably the best out of all of them, like the way it looks and all that. But it's just, I don't know. I just can't sit through it.
It's terrible.
It's a tough watch. Like I just want to watch it just to be like, okay, I've never watched these. Let me see if I could gain some sort of appreciation. And it's just like, no, it's bad. It's bad. The Transformers animated that you guys put me on to, like I have to start watching it again, but I got through at least maybe 8 of those first season episodes, and I could see the episodic like storytelling that you guys are talking about and the build up, and I'm like, this is good. But with those series, you don't get that like too much. Like I feel like it's a little bit more disjointed. And of course, it was Japanese produced, so when they're translating it, there's things that are like getting lost there. But the animated, besides like trying to get over the animation, the story itself was like, yeah, I'm digging it. It's good.
Yeah, like Cybertron, you have to watch from start to ending. Like you can't pick up midstream and because it's just a continuing story throughout the whole thing. So there's a couple where there's one-off funny episodes, but like usually it's typically just rolling right into the next planet. So you have to watch it from start to end. Where like animated, you can watch it, but like you can pick it up in some episodes because they have those standalone enemies and meowing and meow.
I thought I just heard a meow.
Meow.
Cat's meowing over here. Yeah.
Oh, I did.
He's like, Gary, feed me. Meow.
Asia's being a pain in the ass. Like she's not like eating. Like I don't know. Like she might be a little under the weather. She keeps acting like that. You might have to take her to the vet. Like we fed her chicken on Saturday. Like I don't know if you ever have to do that with your dogs, Dave. Like sometimes they're just like not eating the dog food, so it's like all right,
plain chicken and white rice.
Plain chicken breast. Yeah, we'll feed her that. And today she still wasn't eating like her food, so we just made her white rice and she ate that. So I'm like, all right, I feel a little better, because she just was like, I made her an egg this morning. She didn't want it, and usually she'd fucking lap that up.
Yeah,
and she wasn't eating her food. So I'm like, what the fuck, Hate shit like that, and they can't talk to you. You can't be like, what's wrong? You could be like, what's wrong, baby? But they're not going to tell you, So
I tell you what's wrong. You're giving me this fucking shitty ass dog food.
Her shit's expensive, man. We fucking get her good stuff. Be like, bitch, eat this shit. Eat it. You better fucking eat it. Fucking, it's what 24 cans and the shit's fucking almost $40. She better eat
she
shit.
eats the wet food.
Science diet, we get it. We got a science diet.
It's good for you. I want to see you eat it.
Yeah, she's like, you fucking feeding me the same shit every day. Like I'm fucking saying, like try eating the same shit every day.
Does she chew on toys or anything?
Yeah, be careful.
She have bones that she like gnaws on, like
her
seriously.
ball, yeah, she got like her little like stuffed toys that she loves, her favorites, and her balls and stuff.
Her kennel cuddles.
She needs like either hard food or bones to chew on to actually keep her teeth clean.
Oh well, we give her like we have like those little green dentine like things.
Oh, the greenies.
Yeah, the greenies. Yeah, we'll give that to her to munch on. They're a little bit harder. They're supposedly cleaner teeth and stuff. So
Look at you. Taking care of the dog.
She's pricey, but she's my baby. Gotta do it. She's my daughter.
They have like Blue Apron for dogs. My brother does that for his dog.
That's supposed to be like a good brand, like one of the good brands too, right?
Well,
That's
Blue
up there?
Apron's for people, but it's a similar service, but for dogs.
The
Yeah.
meals are made already.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the
Whoa, whoa,
scarcity of
whoa.
food
Yeah.
these days, you better fucking get me. I'll take some dog food.
Yeah, I mean, Jose, you give them your breed of dog and like your weight and the age and stuff, and they make meals for your pet.
Oh, you want
Based on-
kangaroo? You want kangaroo meat?
based on that.
Interesting, but she's very peculiar, man. Like she doesn't really like hard food like that. She likes the wet food. Like we try to give her something saucy, she's like, nah, doesn't like it. Like I don't know, she's weird. It's a little weird. She loves them treats though, as they all do. So let's wrap this up, guys. As always, we'll continue unbroadcasted. Look for the link in the Realm of Collectors Facebook group. Anybody out there watching, listening, come join us. Say what's up. Hang out for a little bit. And with that, let's go around the yard and get some where you at. JD, I'll start with you today, Pop.
JD Burgess on the Facebook groups, Pigment Surgery, Instagram, and Xbox Live. Shelf Gravy everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Every Tuesday here, and I don't think I'm doing a show tomorrow. I kind of need a little break.
You gotta preserve
gotta-
your paint.
We're good on paint.
Serve the paint.
JD, have you ever thought of doing the TIE Fighter tutorial that you did on that Black Series conversion from the whatever the first order it was to the other movie ones?
I mean, I don't know. That would take a long time to do. Just because
Yeah, I
it's
guess
so
that's
big.
true. It's a
I mean,
just
it would be.
thought.
And I already have it, it's all almost done. The only thing I have to do for that anymore is try and figure out some sort of wiring to do LED and sound in it. That's all I got to figure
That's
out.
cool.
Hmm.
I like the vehicles. Always.
Well, JD, if you don't do anything or whatever, maybe you just throw out the hangout link, see who's hanging out. Just
Yeah.
chill out on a Wednesday night. Start bringing that back. Dominic, what about you, brother?
You can find me in the groups, Dominic Rosso, and here Tuesday nights. Yeah.
And of all the toys you have Chief Carnivus as your avatar, so that's cool.
I love Chief Carnivus, dude. It's a good
Okay.
figure.
That's cool. Hey.
Dude, that's one of the ones that I have and never opened, and
Open it.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm waiting.
It
for
goes with the mythic stuff.
I'm waiting.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
got a nice
Thundercats.
patina to it.
No,
He's
no,
waiting
I'm
for the other Thundercats.
I'm waiting for
Ah,
Thundercats.
he's
He's
going to
never-
the Thundercats. He's going to the Thundercats.
I never picked him up like an idiot.
He's not that expensive.
Yeah, I found
Yeah,
him at
it's like 30
Toy-Con
bucks.
just like on a whim.
Yeah,
I got him at ZoloCon last time he was there.
yeah. I picked him up
Oh.
for you.
I know.
Worked out a deal.
Duh.
Oh,
Me and Dave worked out deals.
nice.
Deals for days, yo. Deals for
Deals
days.
for
I remember-
days.
I remember when I got that at Toy-Con, the seller was in that third room. You know, that crowded, hot, smelly room.
Oh, yeah.
And you could, and like no one, you know that
Good
if you're in
finds in
that,
that room.
if you're in that room, you don't sell shit. So I was like, like he was desperate. I like picked it up, put it down. He's like, I'll take this much off. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. I don't know.
Before I move on to Gary, what are you opening there, Dom?
Oh, I'm just going. I'm cleaning. I'm doing a lot of house cleaning. A lot of house cleaning.
It sounds like you're opening a figure or tearing up some
Yeah.
cardboard boxes. I
No,
don't
no,
know.
I'm just going through a lot of shit. So
Getting inventory
been,
done.
yeah, it's been fun.
Nice. All right, G Money.
Yeah, Gary Allen in the Facebook groups here on Tuesday nights with you guys. Occasionally in all the ROC podcasts, you'll see me in the chat for about the first 20 to 28 minutes that the show is broadcasted. And then usually either Dust or Chris or somebody hosting makes fun of me. I get sleepy, I fall asleep, and I have to listen to the rest of the show the next day. So
That's pretty
that
on
time,
point.
yeah, it's how it is.
the time estimate was very precise.
Yeah, well, I know.
Oddly precise.
I know. I know when I start getting tired. You know,
Like clockwork, you know?
Yeah, because 8:28 looks just like 8:30 to Gary. He's just like, click, bye bye.
All right, Brink.
Brian Brink, the Facebook groups, Brinkalizer on Instagram, and yeah, that's where you can find me.
David.
David Cologne Facebook group, and John Addict on Instagram, and here on Tuesdays. Yeah, and that's it.
All right. As for myself, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Harrick and BX, as it says. Am I pointing right? Right there in that little corner. Check out Verbally Challenged with Harrick and BX on all audio platforms. And here every single Tuesday night with my brothers here. If you're watching, obviously you know that. Check out friends of the show. Got the Nerds Have Spoken podcast. New episodes drop Thursdays. Total Package podcast featuring the better halves of some of us here in the realm. You can check that out every single Thursday night as well. MPSP Theater Friday nights on this very channel around 9ish with Nick Brammer and the rest of the crew. Check those guys out. Very fun show. And check out the rest of the shows on the Cool Table. You could follow the Cool Table page on Facebook, and you'll find links to all those other awesome podcasts. Thank you, Chat Squad, for hanging out tonight. You guys were awesome. Really appreciate it. Remember, we will have an ROC hangout. I'm going to throw the link out to the group. And Crashbox Customs on social media for your Mezco diorama needs. Mention the word realm. When placing an order, you'll get a surprise gift with your purchase. And I think that's it, guys. So thanks for hanging tonight. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next week. All right?
Cool.
See ya.
All right, guys. Have a good week, everyone.
Everybody.
Good times.
Next week.
Say it with me now.
Yeah.